The Second Epistle to the Corinthians is one of the most personal and emotional letters written by Paul the Apostle. In this book, Paul opens his heart and reveals the struggles, pain, and victories he experienced while spreading the message of Jesus Christ. Paul wrote this letter to the believers in Corinth, a church that had gone through conflict, misunderstanding, and criticism. Some people in the church were questioning Paul's authority and even attacking his character. Instead of responding with anger, Paul shared his story with honesty. He explained that following Christ does not mean a life without hardship. In fact, Paul faced persecution, suffering, rejection, and many difficulties during his mission. Yet through all these struggles, Paul revealed a powerful truth. God's strength is made perfect in human weakness. When people feel weak, broken, or discouraged, that is often when God's power works most strongly in their lives. Paul also spoke about forgiveness, reconciliation, and unity among believers. He encouraged the church to forgive those who had caused harm and to rebuild their relationships with love and humility. Another important theme in the book is generosity. Paul encouraged believers to support others in need and to give willingly, explaining that God loves a cheerful giver. Throughout the letter, Paul reminds the church that the message of Christ is about transformation. Through Christ, people become new creations. The past no longer defines them, and they can begin a completely new life. The Second Epistle to the Corinthians also warns against false teachers who try to mislead people and promote themselves instead of the truth of the gospel. In the end, Paul leaves the believers with a powerful message of hope. Even in suffering, God is working for a greater purpose. Temporary struggles cannot compare to the eternal glory that God has prepared. The message of this book is deeply inspiring. True strength does not come from human power. It comes from trusting God even in our weakest moments. The Second Epistle to the Corinthians reminds us that hardship does not mean God has abandoned us. Instead, it may be the very place where His grace and power become most visible.